Hello.
Hi everybody, I'm Mark Walters of BigFanboy.com, and this man is Stephen Amell. Let's give him a big hand.
Is that the name of your website, really?
It is the name of my website.
That's an awesome name for a website.
Thank you. BigFanboy.com, because you can't tell where that came from. We just had Stephen in Dallas not long ago, and I can honestly say that it's always refreshing when you meet someone like you that is genuinely very nice and appreciative of your fans. And so you are the genuine. you were the genuine article. But thank you very much for coming to Fan Expo here in Vancouver. It's very cool to have you here.
You know, for people that don't know, I assume most people do, but we film in Vancouver, so it just seemed like a natural fit.
Let's kind of kick this off and ask some of the more obvious questions, like how did the role come about for you on Arrow? I mean, obviously we were talking earlier about, you know, my buddy Tom Jane. You were on Hung.
Yep.
Any Hung fans in the audience? All right, 5 of you, great. That's why it's not on anymore. So thanks. No, I'm just kidding.
Mark.
But I really enjoyed you on that show, and then when I saw you got cast in Arrow, I thought, oh, this is great. This is a guy that I can see really like sinking his teeth into this thing.
Yeah, Hung was actually one of the shows that got me Arrow, because I had played a lot of villains and a lot of guys that reminded David Nutter, who directed our pilot, of the darker side of the Oliver Queen character. But then I played Jason on Hung, and he was this lovable, goofy, naive hooker, and it was that side of my personality that really attracted David Nutter to me. So Hung got canceled in December. I was working on Private Practice, and that was going great, and they were starting to evolve my character more in the storylines. And then I got cast in Arrow, and I was quickly mugged on Private Practice and sent packing.
When you got this role, how familiar were you with the character of Green Arrow in DC Comics?
I was not familiar at all. I had never seen Smallville. I was a huge. I mean, I was always a DC guy growing up. I went through a comics phase where I read a lot of Lobo. I read a lot of Superman. I read a lot of Superman. I read a lot of Spawn, which I know is not DC. But then I got to work with Michael Jai White eventually, so that was cool. But no, I was not familiar.
Yeah.
I became familiar after the pilot. I waited until after the pilot to really get into the reading.
Now, I know that you do a lot of your own stunts on this show, pretty much all of it, almost. It's
I do much more than they're comfortable with me doing, yeah.
And when I watch the behind the scenes and I see you doing these choreographed fights, I genuinely worry about you, because I think you're gonna get hurt really bad on one of these shows at some point.
We are very thorough in preparing me for stunts. There are some that they just won't let me do as much as I complain. But, you know, the only time that I ever really hurt myself is when you're doing these choreographed fights. Obviously, when you swing and you hit something, you're not actually punching the person. And what ends up happening is you swing as hard as you can with your right hand, you don't hit anything, and then all the blood shoots into your fingers, and it just throbs and throbs and throbs, and then all the muscles in your back hurt. But no, I've been pretty lucky with injuries so far. Bumps and bruises, and my shin and calf were really distorted at one point last year, but I've been pretty lucky.
When you have like a big complicated fight scene, do they give you a day of rest, like after you have to go through? Because that's a lot of choreography. They never do. No. Just on to the next thing.
On to the next.
Wow.
No, it's when we have a big fight scene, our fight choreographer, James Bamford, the stunt team, my double Simon, John Kralt, his sort of stuntman extraordinaire, they will film what they call previs for the fight, and I mean, they really do it up, because they cut the whole thing together and they ship that off to the editor, and that's actually how they assemble our fights. It's how they assemble our very best fights, because the guys that are making them know what's going to look best on camera, And the videos are really funny. Some of them go online. What you don't see online is you don't see the stunt doubles delivering some of the worst acting you will ever see in your entire life. You have failed the city. And it's just...
Has there been a particular moment on any of these episodes that really was like a personal favorite moment for you? That something where you were like, God, that was just so much fun to do that.
Fighting wise?
Or anything on any of the episodes.
Well, I mean, yeah, I have all of my favorite moments. I was, you know, I like watching the show. You know, as a fan, I like seeing the reveals that don't involve my character. Like I loved when Slade Wilson showed up in the present this year. I thought that was a really cool moment. And if I'm spoiling it for you, you're at the wrong panel. But no, I've had a bunch of favorite moments this year. We actually have a series of flashbacks coming up in the episode that's actually airing this Wednesday, and the flashbacks are from 7 years prior to when our story is taking place right now. It's the furthest that we've ever gone in the flashbacks. We got to shoot a series of scenes that are some of my favorites. But you have your favorite moments. It's difficult to think about what they are right now because we just wrapped the second season on Friday morning. So I'm just sort of putting all of it into perspective.
Without giving us like any major spoilers, can you tell us what to expect from like those last couple episodes?
The episode that we have coming up on Wednesday night is it's a cataclysmic episode for the series, and it leads into our final 3 episodes, which take place over the course of one night. I'm exhausted. We've been starting at 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and God bless Vancouver, but when the sun doesn't start going down until like 9 o'clock at night, it makes my job a lot tougher. But the final 3 episodes, we wanted them to really feel like an event, and we attempt 2 things in our season finale that I have never seen on television before.
Wow! All right. I can't wait. We want this to be about you guys because I know you guys probably have a lot of burning questions. So I believe there's a microphone over here, and we have someone that's going to line you guys up. So if you want to come over here and set up on the microphone, and we'll take some audience questions from you. Please no personal questions, because that could get ugly.
Okay.
Unless you want them.
No.
Do we have our first audience question? Or am I jumping the gun? Oh, here we go. There we go.
Hi, Stephen. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for your Facebook fan page. It is so great to be able to have you let us into your life like that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I don't even know if you can answer this question, but I don't think we've ever actually heard Sarah called Canary. And there's interviews with Katie Cassidy talking about her becoming Canary, and with Wendy Murphy. And I'm wondering if we can expect to see the change where Laurel Lance, the actual Black Canary, comes into play.
What was your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer, I can't answer that question. Do you have another question?
Thank
No,
you.
I know it was always the producer said at Comic-Con this year that this year we were exploring the origin of the Black Canary story, and that's what this has been. Much like, even though I came back from the island, you know, with the hood and with the costume and fully formed, we never called my character Arrow or Green Arrow in season 1, and we've moved that direction in season 2. So this season has been about the origin of the Canary story, but very much just the origin.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hey Stephen, I was just wondering what any future ways you'd like the show to go. Like, I know in the comics, Oliver was mayor at one point, the public knew his identity, you know. Any certain things you'd like to see them do upcoming?
Both of the things that you have mentioned are things that are a super interesting aspect of the show. I would love the Oliver Queen character to be a little bit more of a public figure. I like playing that character, and I think that at some point on the show, it would be great for Oliver to just announce that he's the Green Arrow and then look at everybody and say, "What are you going to do about it?" that would be a really interesting twist that we could play.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up.
What was your inspiration for your character from the beginning?
With the pilot, it was really important that I trust David Nutter in particular, who is the greatest pilot director in the history of modern television. I mean, I think he's had, if The Flash goes to series, that'll be his 17th pilot taken to series. He did Arrow, Supernatural, Smallville, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, The Mentalist, The X-Files, the list goes on and on and on. And he knows how to craft an episode that introduces characters, tells an interesting story, and makes the audience want to watch another 199 episodes of the show. So it just behooved me to listen to everything that he said. And I'll never forget, our very first day filming was the scene where I'm being interrogated, and if this is a spoiler, definitely at the wrong panel. I was being interrogated, and he had this very, very specific directive that when I finally make the change and I tell these guys that I'm going to kill them, it's like, I want you to look up very, very slowly and really tilt your eyes up. He said, this will be the image that is a transitional moment in the trailer. Like, he already knew these things, having not even gotten a piece of my coverage yet. So I just listened to David and crossed my fingers and hoped it didn't suck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It did not.
Thank you.
Next up.
Hi, Stephen. I was wondering, because you and various cast members post like the goofiest selfies.
Yeah.
Is there a really big memory you have on set that's like really funny?
You know, the first year, maybe our 4th or 5th episode, I was supposed to be having this the show was incredibly serious at the beginning, and I was supposed to be having this very serious moment, and David Ramsey was supposed to come up and whisper something to me. And it wasn't even scripted what he was supposed to whisper, it was just him passing me information, and he said the filthiest thing in my ear that I've ever heard in my entire life. You know, it was like, we didn't even break into telling jokes on set. We went from 0 to 100 in this horrible, horrible thing that he said in my ear that I will never forget for the rest of my life, and that I will not repeat right now. And from that point forward, we've just been a group that likes to have fun. I mean, shooting a season of the show is 189 shoot days for us, and some of them are fun, most of them are fun, some of them are tedious, and some of them you're really incredibly tired. And if you don't have a good inter-cast relationship and a good relationship with the crew and the people that you're spending all this time with, then I pity any show like that. So we try to have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm so happy that I want to thank you and Manu when he's on tomorrow for finally bringing DC Universe to live action. It hasn't been done properly from comic book conception to live action. DC movies haven't really been able to do it. And unfortunately, Smallville was more of a teen drama than Superman.
No
but,
comment.
I'm curious because it hasn't come up yet. Do you actually shoot that bow? The compound bow, the one that you use in the 2nd season?
Yeah.
How fast can you actually fire that thing?
Not as fast as I do on the show. I mean, one of the unfortunate things about a show with respect to archery is there is no safe way to shoot a bow and arrow. I mean, with guns are safe. You clear the gun, you shoot blanks, you add in a muzzle flash after in post-production. With arrows, I'm grabbing nothing, I'm knocking nothing, and I'm firing nothing. We have like a 12-page safety bulletin when it comes to bows and arrows on set. So I practice in my off time so that all the elements of archery that should be there are there, but I can't quite pull a knot that fast. No, that that would act. No, that's actually a superpower.
Thank you very much.
Called visual effects.